Hi everyone, welcome to today's video. Um, as I always try to do every once in a while, I try to do like an update video of current makeup of our federal government. Ever since I put out my 117th Congress episode earlier this year, a lot of changes have happened, and since this past election day, there have been some changes in our federal government, primarily over on the legislative branch for Congress. So I thought it's probably time for me to go through each of the branches and give you all an update and a quick rundown of who all is in what office, how many vacancies, current makeup, all that stuff. We're going in order of each branch of government in order that's in the Constitution. So we're starting with the legislative branch. So Congress, two houses, the Senate and the House. Current makeup of the Senate. All 100 seats are full and taken, and there are 48 Democrats, 2 independents, and 50 Republicans. So yeah, it's a 50-50 split, although since, Kamala Harris is vice president and she's a Democrat and president of the Senate, which means the Democrats pretty much control the Senate. It's not something I like to hear or say to myself, but it is what it is. Over in the House of Representatives, we have 221 Democrats, 213 Republicans, no independents, and 1 vacancy. So yeah, 434 out of 435 seats are taken. Wow, if my laptop will stop being slow, it'll tell me which seat is currently open. And that seat is Florida's 20. It was left vacant since April 6th of this year. Alice Hastings died on that day, so there's supposed to be a special election happening in January, be January 11th of next year. Who knows who it'll be and when that will take place, but I will keep you all updated on that. Alright, over to the executive branch. Obviously, we all know who the president and vice president are. It's Joe Biden's president, Kamala Harris is vice president. They've been in office since, January 20th. Obviously, they're Democrats, so that's why everything's skyrocketing and everyone's losing jobs. Anyways, alright, so running down through the list. Secretary of State, we have Antony Blinken, been in office since January 26th. The Secretary of the Treasury is Janet Yellen, who's been in office since January 26th. Secretary of Defense, we have Lloyd Austin, who's been in office since January 22nd. The Attorney General, also known as the Secretary of Justice, we have Merrick Garland, who's been in office since March 11th. Secretary of the Interior, we have Deb Haaland, who's been in office since March 16th. Secretary of Agriculture, we have Tom Vilsack, or Vilsack. He's been in office since February 24th. Secretary of Commerce, we have Gina Raimondo. I don't know how to pronounce her name. She's been in office since March 3rd. Secretary of Labor, we have Marty Walsh, who's been in office since March 23rd. Secretary of Health and Human Services, we have Xavier Becerra, who's been in office since March 19th. Secretary of Housing and Urban Development, we have Marcia Fudge, who is a former representative here in Ohio, and she's been in office since March 10th. Secretary of Transportation, we have Pete Buttigieg, one of Joe Biden's former competitors during the election. He's been in office since February 3rd. Secretary of Energy, we have Jennifer Granholm, who's been in office since February 25th. Secretary of Education, we have Miguel Cardona, who's been in office since March 2nd. Secretary of Veterans Affairs, we have, let's see here, Dennis McDonough? I don't know how to pronounce that. He's been in office since February 9th. And Secretary of Homeland Security, we have Alejandro Mayorkas, who's been in office since February 2nd. Of the main cabinet members, there are no vacancies, so that's good for Biden, I guess. Although I'm certain that there will be some changes happening next year. I can pretty much guarantee it. Okay, the last of those three branches, we have the Supreme Court, the judicial branch. We're going to start with the Chief Justice, and we're going to go all the way down from the most senior member of the court all the way to the most recent one. We have John Roberts, who is the current Chief Justice. He's been in office since 2005. Alright, and of the regular justices, we have Clarence Thomas. He's been in office since 1991. Stephen Breyer, since 1994. Samuel Alito, since 2006. Sonia Sotomayor, since 2009. Elena Kagan, since 2010. Neil Gorsuch, since 2017. Brett Kavanaugh, since 2018. And the most recent one, since last October of 2020, we have Amy Coney Barrett. So yeah, everyone on the Supreme Court has been totally filled. So what about the line of succession, like I always like to do? Well, we can pretty much leave out everything of the president, vice president, all the members of the cabinet, and the Chief Justice out of the equation, because they're all the same, and we already went over those. I should reiterate who the Speaker of the House and the President Pro Tempore of the Senate are. And they haven't changed since January 3rd, when the new Congress started. So, for a quick recap, Speaker of the House is Nancy Pelosi, who's a Democrat, obviously. She was once the most powerful female in our government, but that title now belongs to Kamala Harris. Well, prior to, this past January, Nancy Pelosi was the most powerful woman in our government. But ever since January of this year, Kamala Harris now has that title. And the President Pro Tempore of the Senate is still Senator Patrick Leahy of the state of Vermont. So, yeah. That is all the time I have for today. Thank you all so much for watching this video, and we will see you in whatever the next thing comes up. Stay cool, stay tuned.